Welcome to Pro Tools with Speech, an accessible guide to using Pro Tools with VoiceOver on the Mac. I'm Matt Demert.
And I'm Rob Polivka.
Welcome to ProToolsWithSpeech.com. On today's tutorial, we're going to pick up where we left off. Last time we talked a little bit about using virtual instruments in our project. And today we're going to actually take a look at some methods for manipulating the MIDI once it's been recorded.
So today we're going to actually take a look at quantizing MIDI. So just something very high level, something you're probably going to need to do on most of your MIDI tracks and virtual instruments, just to tighten up the performance a little bit and clean up any off-time hits that might be there. There's more that you can do to clean up a performance, but today we're just going to focus on quantizing alone and let Pro Tools kind of make the decisions as to where it's going to correct the off-time hits.
So we have a session open in Pro Tools, and we already have a selection made, and I'm going to let you hear the selection as it is. We're looking at the drum track here, but I'll let you hear the whole track in context. So we'll hit play. And I'm going to go ahead and solo up this drum track. We'll hit Shift S, and let's just take a listen to the drum track, and you'll hear some off-time hits. So you heard the drum track there, you heard the metronome, and clearly some of those hits were not on the metronome.
Now, a couple things to note here. Number one, you cannot quantize unless a selection is made. So like Matt said earlier, we already have our selection made. It's just 2 bars, which you guys just heard. But without a selection made, Pro Tools will not quantize any MIDI whatsoever. The other things to know is that when you're quantizing, Pro Tools is going to snap everything relative to the tempo and the meter that you've actually set for your session. So unless your session's on the grid, quantizing isn't really going to do you much good because Pro Tools is going to be quantizing it to a tempo that your song or your material isn't even at. We go into a lot more detail in terms of setting up your tempo and your meter in our recording tutorial. So if you're interested in that, absolutely check it out. Not something we're going to get into right now, but just know that your song has to be on the grid, your meter and your tempo have to be established for it, and your selection of what you want to quantize actually has to be made.
So we're going to go ahead and open up the event operations window, and I'm going to do that by pressing Option 0, and you can use the numeric pad 0 or the number row. Either one works.
Quantize, event operations window, what to quantize text, what to quantize text.
And we're just going to voice over through this window. There's only a couple things we're going to concern ourselves with for now. Again, there's a lot more in this window you can do, but for this drum track, we're just going to take a look at 2 or 3 things. So I'm going to voice over to the right.
Checked, note on button, note off button. Checked, preserve note duration, quantize audio pop-up button, quantize grid text, combine quantize pop-up button.
And this particular button we're going to go ahead and activate by pressing VoiceOver spacebar.
Menu checkmark 1/16 note.
And right now it's set to 1/16th note, and we're going to actually go down here note. To 32. And I'll press enter.
Combine quantize pop-up button.
Now what you're doing there is actually establishing how fine of an adjustment Pro Tools is going to make and essentially where it's going to snap your MIDI notes on the grid according to, quarter notes, 8th notes, 16th notes, or 32nd notes. So obviously, the higher you go, the more fine that adjustment can be. So wherever your MIDI note is in time, whichever one it's closest to, that's where Pro Tools is going to snap it. So this is one of the options that we're going to play with. Another one is upcoming. It's called Swing. These 2 things you kind of want to play with to see what sounds the best. It might not be, one size fits all for even the individual track that you're working with. If you're working with a verse and then you're going into a chorus, you might need to mess with these settings and adjust it accordingly.
So let's go and find the swing button. We'll do a voiceover right arrow until we hear it.
Template, 3 text. In time, 2 text. Offset grid, 0 text. Text. Randomize, 0 text. Swing button.
Now I'm going to check this, and you don't know that it will check because VoiceOver doesn't announce it as such, but we'll do a VoiceOver space.
Press swing button.
And we know that it's press. I'll just move off of it to the
Checked.
left. VoiceOver actually, it just said checked. So that's good. We'll move off to a VoiceOver to the left.
0 text.
And VoiceOver back over to the right.
Checked. Swing.
So
button.
we now know that swing is checked. So I'll go continue VoiceOver right arrow.
0 text.
And this is where we actually put our swing value in. And once again, VoiceOver is not reading this, but I'll do a VoiceOver space.
Press 0 text.
And on my numeric, let's set it to 50. And I'll just press 50 and enter on the numeric keypad. And then you actually need to go to the apply button, VoiceOver end in my case, or VoiceOver right arrow until you hear the apply button.
Apply button.
And I'm going to press VoiceOver space.
Press apply.
And then I'm going to press enter.
Edit. Wash selection window.
And let's listen to our selection now.
So definitely a little bit of a difference there. You can hear where Pro Tools made some corrections with especially the kicks and the snares where they fall. That swing function is supposed to add a bit of a human touch to the track as opposed to just being, everything exactly on the 30-second notes and wherever exactly they fall. It adjusts them and varies them subtly so that it gives it a bit of swing, really.
So we're going to go ahead and undo this. I'll hit Command-Z.
Undo quantize.
And we'll hit it one more time.
Can't undo.
And what we're going to do now is I'm going to tighten up the fineness of the swing. So the higher the percentage you put in there, the more precise on the grid the hits will be. So we're going to do option 0.
Quantize. Event operations window. What to quantize text.
And I'm just going to voice over right arrow until I get to the swing.
Checked. Note off. But checked. Quantize audio. Quantize. Combine quantize. Tiplet. 3 text. In time. 2 text. Offset grid. 0 text. Ticks text. Randomize. 0 text. Checked. Swing button.
And the very next edit field here will just say 0.
0 text.
And again, VoiceOver doesn't read this, so we'll do a VoiceOver space.
Press 0 text.
And I'll type in 300, which is 300%, which is the highest swing value you can actually put in here. So I'll type in 300 and press enter on my numeric. And again, we'll just hit our apply button.
Apply button. Press apply.
And enter.
Edit. Wash.
And let's listen to our selection now.
Selection.
Much better. Obviously, the hits are a lot tighter on the grid. Let's listen to it in context. I'll just unsolo this track. So let's go ahead and listen to the track as it was prior to quantizing it. So we'll go ahead and undo this. So I'll hit Command-Z.
Undo quantize. Can't undo.
And I'm going to solo this drum track back up by pressing Shift-S. Okay, and we'll even listen to it in context. Again, I'll unsolo Shift-S, and we'll listen to it in the music. So I'm going to redo the quantization. We'll hit Shift-Command-Z.
Redo quantize. Can't redo.
And let's listen to it as it is. So we'll play it. And let's solo it up one more time so we can hear the changes.
So again, just a basic overview of quantizing MIDI in Pro Tools and how you can use it to fix a performance or any timing issues on a virtual instrument track. Hopefully it was helpful to you guys and you enjoyed it.
For more tutorials and tips and tricks on how to get the most out of Pro Tools with VoiceOver, check us out on the web at www.protoolswithspeech.com. And be sure to follow us on Twitter at PTWithSpeech.